cockroaches here, and I place them in this James Bond style contraption that turns this ball screw and forces them out after a specified time delay. And then I put it in a lunchbox for camouflage, and then I release them in this office. Now you might think, that's not very nice, Mark. Some people are afraid of cockroaches. Trust me, I know. And that's exactly the point, because this isn't just any office. This is ground zero for one of those terrible call centers that scams people of their life savings. A year ago when I released this video about inadvertently stumbling onto the low-level thugs in this international scam operation, I said we were gonna glitter bomb our way all the way to the top, even if it meant taking this fight to the other side of the globe. And so after a year and a half of planning, we infiltrated not one, not two, not three, but 4 different scam call centers. We released cockroaches, smoke bombs, stink bombs, glitter bombs, and then of course we hacked their CCTV so we could watch the whole thing unfold in real time. So buckle up, because this is the wild conclusion to this multinational adventure, and please watch to the end because there's something you can actually do to help put the nail in the coffin of these 4 massive call centers. Now, why would we go after this $20 billion scam industry? Well, we're doing it for the 60 million people who've lost money to scammers in the past year. But more specifically, we're doing it for Bessie, who you might recall from my previous video when I detailed exactly how one of these scams worked.
You're like my granny, Miss Bessie. Do you know this?
Yes.
She was like one of my closest friends.
Oh.
I used to share each and everything with her.
Basically, it starts with an email or a spam call, then they pretend to be Amazon or Microsoft, and they tell the victim they've been charged $200 for something, but if you call back, you could dispute the charge. Then after they call, they eventually get on the victim's computer and importantly, have the victim type the $200 refund amount into a bogus form.
Please enter your refund amount.
Only they take over and secretly type the amount of $20,000 and then they hit enter real quick.
Check everything, is it correct?
Oh no, this is a mistake. Oh, I screwed up.
Oh, Jesus.
It was supposed to be a 200 in there. Oh, God almighty. I'm exhausted. I can't do this. My mind is absolutely fried.
Please check your account. Did you really receive that money in your account?
Then they take her to a totally fake, spoofed bank account page where it looks like because of Bessie's mistake, they just sent her $20,000 instead of $200.
Oh my God, plus 20,000.
Yeah.
Please save my job, ma'am. If I'll not earn for my family will die due to hunger, due to starvation. Oh, please,
yes, of course. I mean, what should I do? I mean, I can.
Feeling bad for you. You are also like my grandmother.
You know, I'm an honest person.
You are making me cry now. I'm getting attached to you.
Now, how do I fix this?
And now you can see how he's weaponized her empathy. Now to fix her mistake, how she'd be willing to go to the bank and withdraw what she thinks is an extra $20,000 in cash, when in reality, it's $20,000 of her hard-earned savings. And she's gonna send it in the mail to a heartless scammer. Now in case you think they've gotten a lot nicer over the last year, here's another call from a few weeks ago where the scam is to pretend they're from the government and there's some missing taxes that are owed.
I just retired, as I say, last February, and then I was diagnosed with breast cancer in August. So my retirement hasn't been very good so far. And after today, I know it's not your fault, but it's worse now.
Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that.
I would rather just pay it. Otherwise, I'll be worrying about it, and I'll be worse in my health, you know what I mean? Or even if I have to pay it in 2 halves.
So the scammer places her on hold to talk with the authorities and to see if there's just something that can be done to help her out.
Thank you so much for holding the line, ma'am. I just had a word with the Har authorities and I informed them about your situation, and they are also concerned about your health.
So concerned, in fact, she'll only have to send these scammers $2,000.
Actual amount found out missing in the taxes is $1,489.
Now last year's operation was effective in getting a handful of people involved in this scam not only covered in glitter, but also arrested. But the problem was we discovered these were just the low-level mules and supervisors who would then send the bulk of the money back to the actual scammers in India. And while we did turn over all the intel we gathered to the 5 major government agencies that reached out to us to truly avenge Bessie, our goal was to take our glitter all the way to the top and either temporarily disrupt or possibly even permanently shut down a few of these terrible call centers. It'd be like a special operation, and every special operation needs a special ops team, a target, and a plan. For the team, I turn back to my good friend Jim Browning, who you recall from last year has a YouTube channel that specializes in reversing the connection to the scammers' computers and gaining access to their CCTV footage.
Is there anything else you want to ask?
Yeah, I want to know why you scam people.
And then another YouTube channel called Trilogy Media would be the boots on the ground in India implementing the pranks, but more on them later. For the target, together we were able to locate and gather tons of incriminating information on 4 different scam call centers. For starters, there's Met Technologies, located in Kolkata, India, on the 5th floor of this building. They've been in operation over 12 years, and they've got over 1,000 agents. Their owner is Mr. Kunal Gupta, and you can even see the rest of their leadership team here on their public website. And you might ask, well, why would a scam call center have a public website? And the answer is they all do, because they have a very small percentage of their employees do legitimate call center work. So if they get raided by the authorities, they can point to that small group and say their hands are clean, while the real money-making operation runs here behind a secure door. Then we found VRM, also located in Kolkata, on the 12th floor of this building. They also have over 1,000 agents, and they've been in operation for 6 years, and they run 24 hours a day in 3 shifts to target people in time zones all across the globe. Oh, and allow me to introduce to the world Rajesh and Vidya Goenka, the husband and wife co-owners. Next was Anj Info Solutions on the 5th floor of this building. They also run 3 shifts, 24 hours a day, and they've been up and running for 11 years with all their key info shown here. They're located just a block away from VRM. In fact, all 3 of these centers were located within just a few miles of each other here in Kolkata, India, which is a hot spot for scam call centers like this. And finally, there was one more we located, but we're not releasing public information on them yet, and you'll see why in just a little bit. And so once we'd amassed mountains of evidence against all 4 of them thanks to Jim's handiwork, we hired 10 private investigator types to apply for jobs at each of these centers, and after a few weeks, we had them all in place. Now, in order for them not to arouse suspicion, they had to legitimately scam some people, but we told them to remember the victim's information, and then we would reach out and double any money that was lost. And at first, one of our agents in the VRM call center went against protocol and used his phone to capture some footage for us of the bathrooms and the server rack and whatever this is, but they must have seen him filming with his phone on their CCTV, because the next day, some of the security team showed up at his house. Now luckily, his roommate knew to lie and say he wasn't home, and he was able to escape through the back alley, but they stayed out in front of his house all day and later sent this message saying the director wanted to speak with him and they would pay him handsomely, and of course, he didn't need to be scared. They were just simply curious what kind of evidence he'd gathered against them already. So from that point on, we reiterated to the remaining 9 to lay really low like a sleeper cell until we were ready to activate the plan. And speaking of the plan, now that we saw what we were up against, we knew we'd have to go full James Bond Q mode with some high-tech gadgetry that could make it past security. Which is why this first prank is just a water bottle. Kind of. I mean, it can function as a normal water bottle, but if you unscrew just this portion of the lid, it reveals a trough. And if you put military-grade putrid smelling stuff in that trough and then screw the lid back on fully, it creates a perfect seal and you can't smell anything. But then at the exact precise moment you want to release a cloud of death, you just twist the lid like this, allowing the smell to escape through these holes and fill the room. And we're using a water bottle because from looking at the CCTV footage, we know they allow them to have water bottles at their desks, so they'll be able to sneak them past security. Plus, no one's going to suspect that's the origin of the smell. Next up, if you take some hand soap and add just a few drops of the same kitchen-grade food coloring we used on the Devil's Toothpaste explosion, then when you wash your hands, it will leave them stained for at least a day. Oh crap. We'll leave this in the bathroom, and as a bonus, we'll learn exactly who does and doesn't wash their hands. This next one is the most simple, but also perhaps the most effective. You take a box of Sudafed and then print out and paste on some of these labels and convert it to a box of Viagra. Then importantly, you add the name of the boss of the scam call center to the box, like it's his prescription. And then you leave it in the bathroom next to your blue soap. Next up is that custom-built box that can store cockroaches in it. So after a predetermined time delay, the microcontroller will trigger the stepper motor, which causes the wall to slide along this ball screw. That means if you disguise it in a lunchbox, then nothing happens until the timer expires. And then suddenly, you get a bunch of cockroaches crawling out of a lunchbox. Although you can put more than just cockroaches in here, and some other ideas we had were bees, because we heard India has some species that don't actually sting, as well as possibly rats, because we already knew from looking at their security footage that once released, the rats can make themselves right at home. And using a lunchbox for camouflage is once again a strategic choice, because we already knew from our recon work they always make it past security because no one actually checks what's inside. Next up, I love the idea of the chaos that could result if we set off a smoke bomb, but we were concerned that might be crossing a line if the room was too small, because like the glitter bombs, I want everything I do to be exciting, but at the end of the day, relatively harmless. So instead, we found these microfoggers that are basically like massive vape pens. And we also noticed motorcycle helmets were allowed onto the floor and past security. So the plan was to put it inside a helmet like this, and then it would also detonate itself based on a timer. And finally, as the pièce de résistance, we're gonna deliver them a package. Only this isn't an ordinary package, it's Glitter Bomb 4.0, which of course, as we all know, is equipped with a pound of the world's finest glitter and an uncharitable amount of fart spray.
I still smell it.
And so now that our team, target, and plan were in place, after 1.5 years of prep work, it was time to avenge Bessie and execute the special operation.
Soak up flexible bookings on